I genuinely never thought I would be filming a video like this ever again. And yet here we are in my dressing room filming my handbag collection 2025. And in all honesty, I don't think I could think of a more perfect day to be filming this, because it is a grey and autumnal day outside. So I've got a candle lit, I've got my lights on, and I'm sat cozy and chatting to you guys. And it just feels almost like full circle, because I've got all of my bags out, and I honestly can say this, and you know, I don't think that necessarily handbag collections themselves are things to be proud of. I mean, I understand that people collect things and bits and pieces like that, but for me, more than anything, now as a collection showcases a journey of a human being. If you are new here, my name is Lydia Millen, and I have been on the internet for 15 years. I think it's almost 16 years, to be honest with you now. And I have been vlogging my life, filming bits and pieces, and growing as a human being in front of the internet and my audience for that many years. And a lot has changed, and I've changed a lot as a person. And some people like it, some people don't. But the one thing that I've always done is I've really shared that change with you all, and I've not tried to hide it, and I've not tried to continue on as someone that I'm not. I embrace each evolution of myself and I share it with you in the hope that you feel comfortable to do the same. And at the beginning of this year, there was a very, very pivotal moment in my life, and I took a step back. I looked at the things that I was doing, the things that I was buying, and the things that I was talking about online, and I decided to change things. And I announced that I was selling a number of my luxury handbags, and I could never have been prepared for the response to that video. I've mentioned this a lot in my vlogs, but I am still very much being asked about this, being interviewed about this. We just had an article in Vogue all about this decision, and it's very much still a talking point, and I'm really happy that this is still a conversation, and I do think that this will be a conversation that we're having for many years to come around what luxury actually means. And I think I've got a handbag collection that shows the journey of learning, unlearning, mistakes, and this new chapter that I'm moving into. So I hope you're going to join me in going through what is a very lovely handbag collection. It's not as big as it used to be. I used to have over 75 handbags. I don't have as few as I used to have. I have a few more now, so I think I got myself down to about 15 handbags. I've got a couple more now, but hopefully that's going to be quite interesting for you, because the other part of this story is that today, as you're watching this, my design collaboration that has been in the works for almost 2 years with Fairfax and Favor launches today. If you didn't know, around 2 years ago I started working with Fairfax and Favor to bring a new offering to their handbag collection. Fairfax and Favor is a beautiful British brand that centres around heritage fashion and style. They encapsulate rural vogue in the most unique way. They make the wearing of very traditional British country attire something that is not just limited to the countryside, although it is perfectly placed there as well. Their designs are designs that I wear both in the countryside and on the streets of towns across the world. And they asked me to come in and bring to their handbag collection a new offering. And I took a huge amount of inspiration from the Fairfax and Favor Regina boot, which is actually celebrating its 10th birthday this year, which is iconic. They've sold over 120,000 pairs of this boot, and it was my biggest inspiration in designing this collaboration with them. And I wanted to bring the timelessness, I wanted to bring the clean lines, the heritage that is so intrinsically linked to this brand, and give it a bit of Lydia Millen twist. And so I thought, if it's okay with you, we're going to start right away with the 3 different silhouettes and the 6 different colours that I have worked with Fairfax and Favor on. They do launch today. They are also in store. All 9 of Fairfax and Favor stores have my handbag collection in them. And they launch today. They're online, and I will pop all of the links in the description box down below. And I thought that we would start there, because I would probably say that that's been the biggest influx in my handbag collection has come from this collection. And so I think we should probably talk through them together. I think price points are going to be really intriguing for you if you haven't checked the website already. We worked really hard to ensure that we were bringing luxury, quality, heritage, craftsmanship to these bags, but with a really beautiful price tag to match. Starting off with the micro top handle from my collaboration with Fairfax and Favor in the tan shade. Now this is, for me, a work of art. This is the bag that I have usually displayed on top of my jewellery box there, just sitting proudly. It has the contrast stitching, shiny gold hardware, and is made from the most sumptuous leather, and it's Italian leather as well. Designed in Great Britain, made in Spain from Italian leather. We've really gone the sort of round the world with our crafts and our materials for this. It has such presence. I have so many people ask me about this bag, and what I love about this is that it has the magnetic closure, so for me it feels very, very safe as well. I can fit so much in this bag. We took a lot of inspiration from a lot of timeless handbags and silhouettes through the ages because we wanted this to be something that really withstood the test of time in your wardrobe. This to me is that bag that you just pop on the table and people are just, they literally say to me all the time, where is that bag from? And I'm like, well, and we worked tirelessly to bring this silhouette to life. I was so specific about the width of these handles. We had tape measures out. I was to the millimetre on what I wanted these handles to feel like. I wanted them to stand proud like this. This entire silhouette was super important. And also what I loved about this is that we really paid the most delicate, understated, timeless nod to the Fairfax and Favor branding with this stunning foil branded logo just on the inner lip here. But on the inside, we worked hard to bring you a mirror. We wanted a bag that wasn't just beautiful, it was also functional. So on this tag, you will notice that there is an inscription on here that says, designed in England as part of a limited edition collaboration with Lydia Millen, handcrafted by Fairfax and Favor. The back of this doubles as a mirror. So you are able to utilize this and it slots beautifully into a little leather pouch on the inside. And this is where it gets really exciting for me because this retails for £345 and I think that that is an absolute triumph. I love this bag so much. It is so beautiful with taupey shades in autumn winter, but we didn't just do this in the tan. We also brought to life these, oh my gosh, this colour looks even rich, like you just want to eat that. Look at that colour. It's almost like a multifaceted colour, this. We call it mahogany, but sometimes it looks chocolate, sometimes it looks like it's almost got this midnight colour to it, but the richness of this is beautiful. Both bags also come with a crossbody strap as well, so you can wear these as a very, very practical crossbody bag. We wanted these to be versatile, and what I loved as well was that we worked out the best possible height for these top handles in order to sit when you are wearing it crossbody as well. So beautiful, beautiful crossbody straps as well for both of these. But this, I mean, even with this outfit, I am just, yellow and burgundy is just gorgeous. So both of these are £345. I'll link these down below. And these are the first two handbags in my handbag collection. And in all honesty, I really knew when I received the last samples of these, this is something I spoke about in an interview today, I really knew that we'd created something special when these were the bags that I was reaching for in my wardrobe without a second thought. I don't always have a lot of confidence in myself. It's something that I work on. I'm a happy person, but my confidence in myself, I just don't think is always there until I am in the position where it's in my wardrobe every single day and I'm getting that wear out of something and I think to myself, no, we've created something absolutely fantastic here. And the moment that I was reaching for these, and you've seen how much I've worn them over the past few months, it's just incredibly exciting. So the next bag in my Town and Country collection is, of course we didn't just do it in the micro size, we also have the Town and Country top handle. Again, this is also crossbody, so you have these really subtle fixtures to the inside lip and the back of the bag in order to make this super versatile, super functional, but this is the largest bag in the collection, and this to me is you're wearing this alongside a beautiful wool coat on your way to work or on your way to a wonderful dinner out, and you wanted a slightly bigger bag, but you didn't want to compromise on elegance, that earthy elegance, that rural vogue, and that timelessness in the silhouette. So this is a real triumph for me. Triumph is the word because I just feel like this entire collection really has been a labour of love, and so to be bringing it and talking to you about it as part of my own handbag collection is mind-blowing to me. Again, this is designed in England, crafted in Spain, and from Italian leather. Now, because this is the biggest, this is obviously the most expensive bag in the collection, and it retails for £375. We have spared nothing when it comes to this bag. Not even the bottom of the bag is going to be something that is left to the elements. We have the most stunning feet to ensure that this bag is always keeping its shape, protected, and withstanding the test of time. And of course, we didn't just do this in one colour, we have also done it in a truly classic black. I've actually popped one of my own little bag charms on this one, which I just love how this looks. This is the classic black in pebbled leather, and this to me is the bag you buy yourself. If you don't really buy yourself bags, if you're not really a handbag person, but you know you want something, you enjoy your outfits, but handbags, you just want one really good one, and you cannot go wrong with a classic black, in my humble opinion. It looks beautiful in summer alongside ivory tones and classic white dresses, but it also works as well with those richer mahoganies, evergreen tones, browns, etc, etc. So the black and the burgundy, I can't believe I'm showing you all of these, this just feels so nuts. And then we have the final piece in this collection, which I think might be everyone's favourite. I did run a poll the other day. This was ranking the highest, and I think that's probably because you've seen me wear this the most. And this generally feels like the most versatile in the collection because, first of all, I am talking about the Town & Country clutch bag, because this can actually be worn 3 different ways. So this is the most versatile in terms of ways to wear it. It can be worn crossbody. It also comes with the crossbody strap for maximum, throw it over your shoulders, don't worry about it, that kind of thing. It can also be worn underneath your arm like this, which is how I mostly wear it with my waxed jackets, my more country coats. It feels like a vintage clutch of sorts, and you'll understand which of my bags almost inspired this, in particular this colourway, because it just felt like this is the country bag that I didn't know I needed, something that felt elevated but yet relaxed. But of course you can't just throw it under your arm, wear it crossbody. You also have this more pouch style handle, and this is where this bag almost transforms into something that sits alongside day dresses so beautifully. I've got a lot of day dresses. I love a square neck Amelia Wickstead dress, or any kind of sort of waist skimming, large skirted type of dress, and this works so beautifully. I've worn this on red carpets, I've worn this to the pub. It goes the extra mile, and this is the only bag in this collection which actually comes in the more box leather. So this, I feel like, really was the bag that shows the inspiration that went into this, because I was hugely inspired by the Regina boots, and this box leather was was something that I fought for. We've gone for pebbled in absolutely everything else, but for this clutch I really felt like this leather was going to patina, age, and just soften beautifully over the years, as all of the other leathers in this collaboration will do the same. It doesn't just come in the burgundy, we have also brought this in the classic black, and I feel like all of these bags really do encompass those more autumnal hues beautifully for the season ahead. So this bag retails for £325. So out of the 3 styles, this very much sits at that entry-level price point, which I think is wonderful. It's the most affordable out of the 3, and yet it is the most versatile. It is my most worn as well at the moment, but I think as we move into the colder months and I pull out all of my lovely coats, this bag is going to be wonderful. All of them have the magnetic closure, so very, very safe and convenient for walking around London. They all have their crossbody straps as well, and they all come with the mirror and the details around the collaboration that sits in a little leather pouch there. So I honestly can't believe that this is happening. Like, I can't believe that after 2 years, it felt so far away at the time, and now to be sat here talking and showing you and talking you through these bags, it feels so surreal. And I'm just so grateful because the way that you have spurred me on and encouraged me throughout this process, and also the messages waiting to get your hands on these bags, has blown my mind. So I'm forever grateful for the support you've shown. I will link all of the different styles, I will pop price points, I will give you all of the information about each of the bags, from the leather to the craftsmanship, in the description box down below, because I want you to be as informed as possible when purchasing these bags, because I think these bags are going to be absolutely just the most beautiful heirlooms in your collections, and I can't wait to see you wearing them. I genuinely can't. So that's the beginning of the video. Now we get to talk about what is left. So I thought it would be hugely helpful for me to show you the bags that are still in my collection today, and also any others that I might find myself using. I have been finding my feet with this process, in all honesty. There have definitely been times when I've realised that there is potentially an opening for another bag in my collection. There have been mistakes made, which I will talk you through, and I'll try and be as quick as possible, but you know, I love a chat. So what I would suggest is that if you haven't already got yourself a cup of tea at the beginning, definitely get one now, because we're going to talk things through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the bag that I purchased just as I sold all of my luxury handbags. And I purchased this bag purely because I knew I needed a handbag that was very, very Lydia Millen-esque. I didn't have my collection ready. They were still very much, we were fine-tuning details. I was there with handles being measured and hardware being chosen and stitching and all of that kind of stuff. So we were nowhere near there. And I needed to get myself a handbag to see me through. And I managed to get it pre-loved, but brand new. I wish I hadn't got it brand new, pre-loved. I wish I'd just bought an old, dusty one, in all honesty. But I purchased myself the Mulberry satchel in oak. And I really want this bag to start softening up a little bit, but it's been such a good workhorse in my wardrobe. I know that this bag has inspired so many people to go and purchase bags, and it's a really great all-rounder. There's a lot of space in here, it's incredibly timeless, and for me, when I look at my collection now, it really is a celebration of British brands, and that's where I think that my handbag collection should be. I was pulling all of these out of cupboards, and I was putting them all together, lining them up, and I thought, you know what, I feel like you're really living authentically now, Lydia. This makes sense. Everything that you talk about, it now makes sense. When you look and you've got the Fairfax and Favors, the Mulberries, the Tustings, the Tannacrolls, it all makes sense. And so this was a really great bag. I personally would suggest always buying these things pre-loved, because there are so many of these for sale and they look better with age, and that's what I think we're getting this returning to now, especially in British style. We wear our clothes and we wear them well and we wear them with love, and that is what we should be doing. It shouldn't be a new handbag every month. Guilty as charged. That was me, and that was very much the lifestyle that I was living. But we learn and we grow, we become better people, and I definitely think that the way that I feel now about handbags is that I don't need 75. The amount that I've got is already enough, but I do want to make sure that these ones are going to stay in my collection until I am old and grey and dusty and crusty. And so I would always encourage you to purchase pre-loved. The second bag I purchased was another little pre-loved Mulberry number, and I don't know if they do these anymore, in all honesty. Like, I don't know if they sell these anymore in these colours. I often see it in pink, I often see it in blue, but seeing it in the oak shade, you don't see it too much. I definitely would love to see these handles a little bit more dainty. They're very, very chunky, and I love a dainty handle. But this has been a really cute addition to my wardrobe, I have to be honest. And again, this is like a crossbody bag as well. I love the interior of this because it's got that mahogany tone, so it feels very, very heritage. I bought this pre-loved as well. I got it on eBay. It was an absolute steal. I was searching for this high and low, and it just looks perfect. And I think that that's a real testament to British craftsmanship, because everything just looks so blooming good. You'd probably believe me if I told you that I bought them brand new, but I didn't. This is completely pre-loved. Another pre-loved number, and this is what I mean when I say I looked at my bag collection, and the amount of bags that were pre-loved, secondhand, really filled my heart with joy. And this is another one. This is the Mulberry Dahlia? I can't remember what this is called, but this is almost like another little clutch. You can soften those handles down. These are more of like a thin tape handle, and it's in a really beautiful soft ivory. It's more like a wallet, in all honesty. There's a few little, what's it called, pockets in there. And this was also pre-loved. I got this on eBay. It was with tags, it was with the receipt, it came in the dust bag. It's such a lovely thing when you find something that you've been looking for, but you also find it in such great condition. And I think in these more ivory tones, I like these to be a bit cleaner. When you've got the blacks, the burgundies, the tans, they can justify being a little bit rough around the edges, but when you go for these cleaner classics, I think ivories definitely need to be kept a little bit more pristine, so you've got to be careful with these ones. Next up, I think this is one of the ones that you can tell definitely provided a huge amount of inspiration when designing the Town & Country clutch. So this was a vintage Mulberry pochette that I bought for 90 quid. No, was it that much? I don't know what. Correct me if I'm wrong, did I get this for £90 or did I get this for £40? I can't remember, but it was a steal. And when I started wearing this alongside my wax jackets, I realised that actually this is the kind of thing that we want. And the fact that we were able to bring something that ended up being elevated with dresses but also looks as wonderful with wax jackets, this really was what inspired that. So I hope you can see how from this we've almost brought to life something that is so unique and so incredible in its craftsmanship. And it really did, I can't put into words how much this just was like, I think I've almost filled a gap in the handbag market here, because I promise you, I think everyone's going to be having one of these nestled under their wax jackets in the morning when they walk to the farm shop. But then when they're putting on their dresses to go out with their friends in the evening, they'll be reaching for the same bag. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very exciting to think that like just one little thing can just set off a whole new design in your mind. It's very, very exciting. So anyway, this was something that was really quite transformative when it came to working on the collection. And I still love this so much. I use it so much, but it is just my lovely little clutch, which I know so many of you loved as well. And the final piece in my little Mulberry edit of bags is the one that I wish I'd bought in the first place. So this is a chocolate brown, again, Mulberry satchel, Bayswater. This I got for £200 on eBay. It is so battered and bruised. And this is how I want you to wear the handbags in the Town & Country collection as well. I want you to wear them so that they get better with age and to just love them and use them, because this is how your handbags, I think, especially in these shades, should look. This smells so old and it is so lovely, but it's a workhorse. It is one of those bags that you can throw around and you just don't need to worry about. Look, I've even got a poo bag in there. There's stitching coming undone, there's bits and pieces falling off here and there, and I love it because of it. And again, these leathers and the feel of these bags are timelessness epitomized. I think for me, when I got into enjoying handbags, it really was in that Mulberry era, and it really was the first handbag that I ever purchased, and it's been one of the most influential handbag brands on me throughout the years. I know that might come as a shock. You might think it had been HERMES, but it's not, because this is where it all started. And returning to this bag when I sold everything was quite a full circle moment, and it felt very cathartic. It also felt very authentic. So for me, this has been a real journey. Another British brand, and this is a newer edition. This is my little Tusting Clara bag, I think this is called. This is a gorgeous little elevated, sort of more dressy bag. I don't know what I've managed to get on there. It looks like something sticky, but we'll just pretend it's not on there. This is a really beautiful bag, and I almost wear this in the same way that you would wear the Dior Lady Dior. I think it's really elevated, could almost be evening sort of bag appropriate. And beautiful British brand, beautiful leather, crafted literally down the road, and just absolutely stunning. They come in a load of different colorways. I just think it's such a beautiful brand as well. Next up, we have a bag that has been in my collection for a while. So this is definitely one of the bags that I've kept, and I've also got the tan one that I got pre-loved behind me there. This is the Annabelle Vanity clutch or handbag. I can't remember what they call it, but this is from a brand called Tanacrol. And Tabitha Simmons was the creative director of this brand for a while. I don't know if she still is, but phenomenal, phenomenal work. This definitely isn't a bag that I think I have got the wear out of in my wardrobe. In all honesty, I love the design of it, but I just generally reach for other things. I find that this works so much better with my style. This is quite clunky, it's quite difficult to open. I have actually lost a foot on the bottom of this as well, so it's a little bit on one side, but I also love the design of it. I actually think that there is a more simplified version of this to make this opening mechanism maybe a bit easier. I think you could definitely streamline this so it's more of a sort of petite malle style handbag versus a vanity. I think this would be gorgeous as a little bit more of a clutch. I'd probably increase it a little bit and narrow it down, but I do love it and I love the brand, and I think it's just so beautiful. So it is still in my collection, mostly because it's not really worth selling when it's broken, and I do think that I will get the wear out of it. Next up is a very special piece before we get more into the handbags that I actually kept from my luxury handbag collection, because it's really funny. People are always like, I thought you sold all of your bags, and I was like, I did sell all of my Hermes bags. They are all gone. There is not a single one left, and in all honesty, that is a catharsis in itself. I cannot explain to you. I mean, maybe we'll talk about this at the end of the video, but it's been transformative. But before we get into those, I am going to show you one that my grandma gave me recently. If you've been watching my vlogs, you will have seen this, and I wasn't sure if it was okay for me to have this bag or even show you it, but you all reassured me that it was absolutely fine. This is my Paloma Picasso vintage clutch that my grandma purchased from Saks Fifth Avenue in New York. It is made from some kind of wood. I've actually got all of the details. She wrote me a little note in here telling me how much she paid for it, a little bit about it. It says, if I can read you, my grandma loves stuff like this. Playwright Rafael Lopez Cambil, also known as Rafael Lopez Sanchez, first husband of Paloma Picasso. Evening bag purchased from Saks Fifth Avenue in Atlanta, sorry, my mistake, it's not New York, by me as an item from the luxury goods company of Rafael Sanchez and Paloma Picasso. That's all I know about it. I don't know what she paid for it, but she said that there was only like 1 or 2 made. This is something that I actually feel like is almost coming back around. You're going to see a lot of black tassels trending at the moment. And whilst it's not something that I'm going to go and necessarily buy into as a micro trend, if I'm buying something, it's because I'm imagining that it will actually work in my wardrobe for years to come. This handbag is never going anywhere. I think of this with like a rich velvet gown. Oh, so gorgeous, but also like an ivory 2-piece, something a little bit more relaxed. And the fact that it is completely inappropriate, you know, I think you'd get your phone in there. Would you get your phone in there? I think that's about it. Yeah, so you get your phone and you might get a very small lipstick, but probably just a phone, and it's got this really lovely burgundy lining to it. This is more of one of those pieces that just means the absolute world to me because it's my grandma's, and honestly, I worship my grandma and I worship anything that she gives me. I literally keep it and love it and never let it go. So this is quite a special one. But now we're into the handbags, more so that I've kept from my luxury handbag collection that you guys would all sort of know about. Now, I think that you might be shocked to see this one because I actually sent this handbag to be sold and it never made it to market. And part of me, I don't know if I'm glad, but I've kept it. And this is one of those styles of handbags that for me, I think is a good one. If you're still very much in that luxury era of your life where you enjoy going and treating yourself to a handbag, which I love for you, by the way. If that works for you, I love that. My life has just taken a different turn. Then this is one of those styles that I will always advocate for. The Lady Dior for me is the epitome of timelessness. I love that their bags can be worn casually, but they can also be worn elevated as well. The mini Lady Dior for me is the ultimate evening bag. If you can get a black, almost like velvet one, oh, my dream is to one day find a good pre-loved mini black Lady Dior. For those days when I need a practical handbag that can also work as an evening bag, I have worn my other version of this bag immensely, and I kept it because, generally speaking, in the realm of luxury handbags, this isn't a hugely desirable one when it comes to the resale market. It does hold its value pretty well, especially the classic colours, but generally speaking, it's not one of those bags that necessarily goes up in value, unless maybe you have a special edition, which I sold all of my special editions a long old time ago. So this is the sort of sage green one, and this is their ABC Dior. Honestly, hated it. Hated the strap. It was so rubbish. I just think that these, especially the small one, because this is a small size, it should always have the chain strap with the leather tab so that it's comfortable to wear but still elegant. And I just didn't like the ABC. I think that's the other thing. I couldn't sell the strap with it because I'd gone for my initials and all of that stuff, and it's just one of those bags that I don't get a huge amount of wear out of it. This really did teach me to be very, very selective with coloured handbags that you allow into your wardrobe. That's not to say, you know, if you love colours and you love all of that stuff, go for it. But I always find it's very difficult to get colours like this to match. There is 100 different shades of green and it doesn't work with all of them. So this is one of those designer bags that I think you cannot go wrong with. If you're not wanting to move into the HERMES Birkin and the HERMES Kelly and that kind of thing, but you still want that timelessness and that beauty, this shape is elegance personified, and it was one of the favourites of the late Princess Diana, and I think that there is a reason why she is always one of the most elegant women ever, and she chose this bag. Next up in my remaining luxury collection is this Fendi Peekaboo. I purchased this from Harrods after a meeting with the Fendi team, and the lady that I was meeting from Fendi was wearing this bag, and it was like a red flag to a bull, but in the form of a Fendi Peekaboo. Now the Fendi Peekaboo is very much the Lady Dior of Fendi. It's their classic, timeless, elegant style, and you'll notice the shape of the bag. This to me is that shape that you see through a lot of different classic designer handbags. You'll see it in the HERMES Kelly, you'll see it in the Bayswater. This very subtle, triangular, tapered shape, tight gusset and flat bottom with a beautiful top handle and the option of a crossbody. This is what we were able to identify as one of the most timeless silhouettes for a handbag. And you see it now. Once you see it, you won't stop seeing it. And this is what the Peekaboo is. This is their sort of like, it's like a reddy orange, corally reddy orange, and in all honesty, this has been a very, very easy bag to match with accessories, so like corally orange shoes and that kind of thing. And it is such a gorgeous bag. I don't wear it as much, I have to be honest. Fendi as a brand, I've definitely lost a lot of synergy with over the years. I think when they started going down that monster route with the bags, I just hated it. And sometimes I think these fashion houses think that they have to reinvent the wheel, and the reality is that their classics are what we want. And they spend so long trying to adapt to these trends and these micro trends that a lot of the time the people that enjoyed the brand in the first place are almost lost, because they're like, what is this? Like, what is it? And I think with, like I say, I think we're going to see the end of this in terms of luxury and luxury fashion houses emulating this faster fashion approach to things, because I honestly can't keep up. And I think I'm not the only person that feels this way, in that it's almost a bit exhausting. I don't want to keep up with trends. When I buy something, when I part with my money in this way, I don't want a new version to have come out 6 months later. I want this version to be relevant and beautiful and still as timeless now. So that's my thoughts on that. That's my Fendi Peekaboo. Still got it. Now, again, you're noticing this style of handbag with this slightly tapered, tight gusset, top handle, and the offer of the crossbody strap. This is my Lorna, is it the Judy bag? I think this is the Judy bag in their bone colour. I love this bag, and I find it so interesting when people are like, oh, you just copied this brand, and I'm like, well, you could say that about any brand. This shape is an iconic shape, and I love, love, love Lorna handbags. I think that they are so wonderful. They are definitely that higher luxury British brand. So this hardware is 24 karat gold plated. I love the rope detailing of the logos. I think it's so beautiful. There are some changes that I personally would make to this bag. I would like a smaller handle. I think this is what I talk about in terms of proportions. No matter how much I love this brand for their accessories, there's just things I would change. And I think the size of this handle actually dates the bag. I think we want to look for something a little bit more dropped down and tapered to the style, because at the moment you've got as much handle almost as you have bag, and I just personally don't think that that's necessary. It looks like you've tried to please everyone, and what I really like about handbags is where a handbag knows their market and it knows who they want as their owner. And sometimes if you see a really, really big handle like this, personally, I think it looks like you've tried to just make it for every single person, and not every single person has the same style. And I think that there's definitely like a balance to be made between handle height and bag. And I just think this one's a little bit off. I would also love for them to do a proper ivory. This almost has a sort of grey tone to it. I think Lorna could 110% introduce a beautiful, warm, almost peachy undertoned ivory for this bag, and I would be over the moon. I think this bag is absolutely stunning. And again, it's got the crossbody strap. It is an absolute icon. And people always say, what about your Lorna bag? This is still very much in my collection. I just wish it was a different colour. I love this colour, but it's very, very difficult to style because it doesn't really go with ivory. Ivory is very much like a brighter, more sumptuous, buttery colour, whereas this is quite muddy in its tone. It's been very hard to style, but I just love it. Now, I really, really ummed and ahed about including this handbag, but I thought it would actually be a complete and utter lie if I didn't include it, because I wear it so much nowadays, especially in summer. But it is my £15 Provençal French market bag. This was a gift from the team at Master Chabran, and I actually unpicked their label though, because you saw it quite a lot and I felt like it made it look too manufactured, and this is just, you know, it's just so beautiful in its rawness. It doesn't need any sort of branding or anything on it. The reason why I have used this so much is that I think that this is the most elegant style of French market bag because of the handles. You'll notice the ratio of the handles to the depth of the bag is really what I love. There is a stark difference. Often you will see French market bags with long straps. I wasn't interested in that. I wanted something that felt elevated, elegant, and very much in line with handbags, but a French market bag. This probably retails for about £15. I've actually got no idea what this cost, but it wouldn't have been expensive. No, it is not a luxury handbag in the monetary sense of the word, but in the craftsmanship sense of the word, which I think is what we need to learn better about. This is very much a luxury handbag. This is made by hand, it is made with local produce, it is made where you buy it, which is in Provence, and it is the epitome of a beautiful bag made from natural materials, honouring the heritage of the area where it is from, and I think that that is luxury. So I definitely wanted to include this in my handbag collection. I have such a funny story which I feel like I can tell you about now. This is my Bulgari Serpentine bag, and I bought this bag, so there was a period of time, and I think you might remember it, where Bulgari started moving into like the influencer world, and they did a lot of events, and I think they just moved into the handbag world, or they'd reignited their handbag presence, and they were giving a lot of bags to creators and all of that kind of thing. This is, gosh, This was when I was living at my old house that this happened, and I will never ever forget it. This is like a horror story of my career. And in all honesty, you can laugh about it now, and I ended up making friends with the person and it was fine, and no names mentioned. But I was invited to a Bulgari event and they were going to give you a handbag if you came. I honestly couldn't believe it. It was like my dream coming true. Italian brand, beautiful. I actually wanted to buy this bag, so it was working out perfectly. I was invited, and then for the first time in my career, never experienced this since or before, I was uninvited. And I was uninvited because of a sponsorship I'd done. I think it was like I can't even remember what the sponsorship was now, but I was uninvited. I received an email to say that I'd been uninvited because of this sponsorship. And my mind was blown. I was devastated. I was very much not in tune with what actually validated me, and I felt very, very validated by this invite from Bulgari. I must say that this person was not within the Bulgari team. They were an external person brought in to organise these things. Anyway, long story short, that all changed and I was actually invited to another event. I ended up being gifted a number of Bulgari bags over my career, and it was all forgotten about. But it was one of those situations where you were like, I can't believe this has happened. Like, I honestly can't. I was devastated, absolutely devastated, and my confidence was well and truly knocked. But when that happened, I wanted this bag so much that I bought it. And needless to say, it is the only Bulgari bag that is still in my collection, because I do think that this is the perfect hybrid when it comes to Bulgari bags. It looks like a jewel in itself, and with Bulgari being so heavily associated with watches and jewellery and accessories as well, this feels very apt for them. And it's such a gorgeous size. Again, you will notice this silhouette, this top flap, this silhouette, and it's very much a classic in my opinion when it comes to timeless styles. So I did very much keep this. Not to mention, no names mentioned, Carrie Grayson. Once upon a time I loaned it to her and she dropped it and this fell out. I could have had it fixed and then I lost it. And so all it is a very lovely bag now with so many lovely stories around it. I still wear it despite it being broken, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of this in all honesty, because there's just so many funny stories around this bag and I think it's still such a beautiful bag. So this is very much staying in my collection. I feel like this is a bit of a moment. This is an era in itself, this bag. This, I believe, was my first ever Lady Dior that I purchased, and this is the Lady Dior mini size. In all honesty, this is the best of the best in terms of Lady Dior sizes. It's perfect for evening wear, but it's also perfect for wearing with like day dresses and day outfits and things like that. In all honesty, from what I've seen, this colour is the worst nude that they've ever done. It's got sort of like a bluey grey hue to it. I would really love a rosy nude because I've got more of like a warm undertone to my skin. I would love to have got a different colour, but I just bought the only nude that they had at the time. This bag is battered to within an inch of its life. It is covered in marks and scuffs, and the leather is starting to go, and I will never ever sell this bag ever, because I still think this is so beautiful and I still think it's a bag that I will wear, and I do wear very, very often. Again, it's not one of those insane luxury bags that goes up in value. I mean, like I said, it holds its value well, but you're not going to double your money when you buy this. But it is an absolute classic in the handbag world, and I still to this day would happily purchase this in another colour. I would love this in a black, I would love this in an ivory as well. We are almost at the end, I promise. I've got 2 more bags after this one, but I thought I had to show you this one anyway because it's another British brand and I love this bag so much. I really only save this for like gardening events and things like that. This is the perfect handbag for Chelsea Flower Show. I wore it one year and I got so many compliments. This is my blackberry punnet, and considering how much I've gone on about blackberries this year, it's perfect. But this is from Lulu Guinness, and this was actually a gift from the brand. They did do a strawberry one as well, and I wish I had the strawberry punnet too, because that would be perfect for Wimbledon. You just basically lift up these blackberries, which can actually be quite difficult to get out sometimes. This is well and truly stuck in at the moment. You basically lift out the blackberries and you pop them in the top like that, and that is your handbag. So you're literally walking around with a blackberry punnet. I love it. I absolutely love it. Totally ridiculous, but I love it. Now, I was going to go in with a different bag at this point, but there's so much to talk about with that bag that I'm going to leave it to the end. This is actually my horse riding bag. This is the bag I take to the stables with me. This is from TOWCESTER, and it is their chocolate brown suede tote. I'm so sad about this bag because as much as I have used it and loved it, in fact, I don't really care because this is what it's supposed to be, but I went and bought some chicken, like herbal treatment thing, and it leaked in this bag. And now this bag absolutely stinks of like herbs, but like not nice herbs, it's like garlicky herbs. It's a lot, but I use this so much. There are currently apples in here and receipts and hand cream and all of that stuff just going on in here. It's used and loved, and it's a workhorse bag, pardon the pun. They come in other colours as well, beautifully stitched. I love the contrast stitching on this as well. I love the brand as well. I think it's such a gorgeous brand, but this bag is like my everyday throw everything in. I love that it's not got any branding on the outside. It is true simplicity and just craftsmanship in its finest, and I think, yeah, love this so much. So now we're on to the last bag, and I want to talk about this one. So this bag I purchased quite recently. I don't think I ever did an unboxing. I don't think I ever did a reveal. Correct me if I'm wrong. My memory is not what it used to be. And I purchased this in Harrods, and it felt a little bit like an impulse purchase at the time. And it made me realise that I had a habit to break with handbags that I'd got myself into, whereby I got myself all excited and it felt really giddy, and I got to have a new bag and this, that and the other, and it was where I really became conscious of my behaviours around luxury handbags and handbags in general, because this was a mistake. This was a huge mistake, an expensive mistake, but I haven't made another one since. I purchased the Loro Piana Loom bag in their sort of ivory shade, and it is beautiful. So let's cut to the chase. It's a beautiful bag. I'd had a ivory HERMES Birkin on my wish list for a while, and again, stories that I would never have told you before, I am happy to tell you now. I really think that I'd had some not very nice service at HERMES, and I'd really brushed over it. I have to say, the 99.9% of the staff that I'd experienced at HERMES were incredible. They were so kind. It almost didn't marry up with the systems that they had in place, because so many of the staff were so friendly and warm and inviting. I did have a couple of occasions where that wasn't the case. This is where I think it all kind of started unraveling. And you might remember it because I did vlog it. I got the email to say that a bag that I wanted was in stock and I could go and collect. I travelled down. It was a terrible travel day, and it had taken like 2 hours to get down, and I was literally coming in just to get this one bag. And when I got there, I was with my friend, and thankfully my friend was a very good person, and I was about ready to buy this very expensive bag that was 5 figures. And I'd seen that this leather was marked all over it. I'd seen, and I was just so fixated on buying the bag to let everyone know that I'd got my wish, and I think that's probably one of the things that they rely on a lot of the time, that I was just going to buy it. And she said, it's got a mark on it. And the moment that she said that, I was like, yeah, I know, I saw that. And so we said to the gentleman, have you got another one? He just said no. And all I can say is what the experience was like, and he was not very forthcoming. Previously I'd been in there and there'd been champagne, you know, you're spending a lot of money, it'd been champagne, you were sat down. This experience from the beginning hadn't been that way. And he hadn't sat us down, he hadn't even offered me a glass of water, and I was about to spend 5 figures, like, what? Then the box came out, it wasn't properly wrapped, the box was falling apart, he didn't ask me if I wanted to have a seat, there was kind of no airs and graces. It was just kind of like, get the bag and go. And so when I asked for another one, that was not the case, and I was like, I've just literally come in today for this, and that was that. And so, you know, we had a little bit of like a, come on now, like, everybody knows that they've got the bags, especially when the problem is their issue and not mine. They've tried to sell a bag that really they shouldn't be trying to sell for the price that they're selling. It was not a good experience, and what I did was I made a new wish. I took this as a sign that I wasn't supposed to have this bag, and I made a new wish. The gentleman did not put my wish in, and I ended up going like a whole year without a wish in, blah blah blah, left a bad taste in my mouth. And then everything just kind of, when I started this year and I looked at myself and I had the experience when the lady followed me on Sloane Street, and I was just like, do you know what, this is enough now. Anyway, I'd had an ivory Birkin on my wish list. I'd waited 2 years, it had never come in. And so I thought, do you know what, now that I'm not buying Hermes handbags, I'll buy this one. And firstly, if I wanted it, should have bought it pre-loved, or should have found one pre-loved. Again, it's not a British brand, doesn't feel right. Even though it's an Italian brand, I love it. It didn't feel right. And I've barely ever worn it, in all honesty. I think it's beautiful, but it's probably going to be a handbag, the last handbag that I'm going to sell from my luxury collection, because what it taught me was that I had a lot of unlearning to do. It's a beautiful bag, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of space in it. I don't like how soft it is. Everything kind of moves around quite a lot and it doesn't really hold its shape. I like a bag with presence, and this just, it isn't it. But what that taught me, that moment, was that I've got this habit, and this habit is, I think I want a bag. And so I just go and I get all excited and I buy the bag and I don't really think about it. And so after that moment, I really started thinking about what it was that I enjoyed about handbags and what it was that I looked for in handbags, and I made some changes, and I have not bought a brand new handbag since that day, which must be now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I think it's probably been 7 months? It's been a good few months. I've not been tempted to buy a brand new handbag. I've not felt the urge to go into Dior or Harrods or anywhere like that to buy a new handbag, because I feel like I've got the understanding now of all the excitement that I used to get from going into a shop and purchasing and trying them on, and it's almost like a ritual. And instead now I get so much more joy from finding a bag on somewhere like eBay or Vestiaire or places like that, or Cellier, and purchasing something that really does have a story of its own, isn't a new product, which means it's most likely going to withstand the test of time, and not buy into these trending pieces, these new styles, these new releases that seem to be happening all the time. And so then it brings me on to the HERMES side of things, which, like I said, I never imagined that the decision that I made at that time would cause such a discussion to ensue. But I definitely now look at things very, very differently. And I say that as somebody who really loved the craftsmanship of HERMES bags and really loved everything that went into them, everything. I loved the fact that they had this exclusivity process, and I loved it until I maybe didn't experience the nice side of it, where it can be a little bit like, well, come on now. But I think that their processes are great. I think the bags are beautiful. I think their craftsmanship is amazing, and that is something that I will never, ever, ever deny. What I think is important to note is that there is a hidden cost to bags like that. There is a hidden cost to your peace of mind and your safety that I had no real tangible understanding of. And that's the thing that really changed it for me, where I was like, I love this bag, but I don't love it more than I love me. And I don't love it more than I love my peace. And I cannot tell you now how lovely it is to be able to walk around holding a handbag that still shares that emphasis on craftsmanship, on beautiful leathers, on heritage design. Sorry, I'm talking about my bag here. That still shares all of that focus, but it doesn't have this hidden cost. It isn't seen as a monetary or financial investment, so much so that people might want to come and take it off your arm or whatever. It's really supposed to be something that you enjoy. I said this recently in an interview, and it's something that I still stand by today, that there is so much to worry about in this world. There is so much. And what you're worrying about will be different to what I'm worrying about, to what Leslie down the road is worrying about. Everyone's got different worries. There are worries in our personal lives, there are worries in the world, and in an economic, on a humanitarian level. There's so much to worry about. Do you know what I don't want to worry about? My handbags. I don't want to worry about them. I don't want to have to turn them around when I'm walking down the street. I don't want to have to worry about my home and my animals. I don't want to worry about those things. I want to not have to compromise my safety for a beautiful handbag. And so everything I have ever said about the bags that I used to buy still stand. It's just that they are not worth it in my experience. I'm not going to pay for someone to protect me because of a handbag. I'm just not. I'm not going to pay for someone to protect me for a diamond. I'm not going to do it. I would rather just not wear the thing. And I think that one of the things that really intrigued me about these discussions that came out, and I saw lots of the fashion girlies talking about my content and think pieces and indirect pieces and all of those kinds of things. I think that maybe those people don't have a true understanding of peace and what peace looks like, because I guarantee that anybody that has really experienced a peaceful existence would never bring something as irrelevant, no matter how beautiful, no matter the craftsmanship, no matter the solid gold labubu that you put on it, nobody would compromise their peaceful existence for a handbag. They wouldn't. They just wouldn't. I don't believe it. I put money on it. And I think we're going to see that change. Not because I want to be the person that's like, this is why you're doing it. Not because of that. I think that as a society, we're starting to learn what a peaceful existence looks like. And some people are learning sooner, some people learning later. No matter what speed you learn, when you truly connect with how much something consumes your mind, how much you think about it. Have I been buying enough at HERMES to get a bag this year? Have I done this? Have I texted my essay enough? Have I done this, that and the other? Am I in there enough? Am I walking down the right street? Can I wear my bag on this street? I should probably get a cab. I'm definitely not getting on the underground. Can I go to that restaurant even though I have to cross this area of London? Once you go through how much you think about something and you just don't need to, that is when your relationship with luxury goods, luxury handbags of that caliber will change. It changed for me. I want you to do what you're happy with. This isn't about me trying to convince you in any way, shape or form, but I want you to know how much consideration went into this. Lots of people are like, 1 minute she loves Hermes, she got a new bag at Christmas, and the next minute she doesn't. It really probably does feel quite cut and dry, but the reality of the situation is that I was back and forth in my mind for a long period of time, and continuing the same behaviors. I need the bag, I need the bag, I get the bag, I worry about the bag, I worry about where I'm going, I'm turning the bag round, and then I get the bag again and I do the same thing, and then how many bags have I got in my house now? This is quite worrying. And I think one of the things that really changed it for me was that I always thought I had a small collection of Hermes bags, and then I heard about someone who had a minute collection of Hermes bags getting robbed, and I realised it didn't matter. One was already too much. That's when it all kind of changed. So for me, being able to put the same love, the same design, the same emphasis on craftsmanship, luxury, heritage, earthy elegance, rural vogue, all of that into handbags is exactly why I wanted to do this with Fairfax and Favor. They don't follow trends, they don't follow micro trends. You'll notice they are very slow to move into anything, and that's what I really respect about them. And this has been a process that hasn't just taken 5 minutes, it's taken 2 years. And it's now out there in the world, and you know all my workings out, and this has probably been a video bordering on War and Peace, but I have loved filming this, and it honestly feels like my journey has changed so much. I didn't go back and watch any of my old videos because I don't know, maybe I will one day, but now I enjoy handbags in a different way. I feel like they're just, you know, the sprinkles on the cupcake when I do an outfit, and they look lovely and they serve their purpose. They're something that will just get more beautiful with age, but they aren't consuming my thoughts. And they aren't something that I revolve everything around. And I've worked really hard on this, and I think the best thing for me is that I can sit here and say I did my absolute best with this, and I was so honoured to have worked with the design team in the way that I have. They were so patient, especially when these people have studied, worked for the most prestigious brands and worked with Fairfax and Favor and have crafted so much of what they have worked so hard to bring to life. To allow me to come in, little me, who, you know, I just know what I like, and to work alongside them in a respectful, kind, compassionate way is honestly a dream come true. And so I hope you can see how much love and dedication and joy has gone into creating these. They are on sale now, and you've got my whole handbag collection to see exactly where I've been inspired, where we've brought things to life, and the journey that I've been on as well. So everything will be linked down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've weirdly enjoyed this so much more than I thought I was. I feel like I have yapped forever. If you do purchase one of the Town & Country collection bags, please tag me in it on Instagram. I would love to see you styling them up. I would love to hear what you think, and I just cannot wait for this video to be live and these bags to be out there in the world. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next one.